Hey, it's Friday, which means it's time to deploy. I'm joined by Jim and Matt today this week, and we've had a very busy week. Lots of stuff to tackle. We've got a new version of Octopus 2026.1 is out. We've done videos online. We've been talking about all kinds of things like ephemeral environments, built-in NPM support, etc. We've got a new episode of Inside Platform Engineering. We've got webinars, we've got events, we've got KubeCon, we've got a whole bunch of other things. But first, Matt and Jim, how are your weeks?
Yeah, the week was good for me. Lots of stuff there. Like you said, it's kind of weird to get to the end of the week and then recap and think, oh yeah, that all happened, didn't it? So
Yeah.
but that's what we do. That's what we live for. So yeah, Jim, how about yourself?
I don't know where the week even went, and then John posted the rundown. I'm just like, whoa.
Yeah,
That's where it
I
went.
tried to take some notes there. Anyways, yeah, it's been very busy. Been obviously on the back of our big release that we had on March 10th. So for those who didn't happen to catch it, we shipped Octopus 2026.1. Was there anything that your team shipped in there, Jim? Probably some bits are floating around there, I
Probably a
guess.
few bits and pieces, but yeah, I think we're mainly looking for 2026.2 or 3 for some big releases at this point. So stay tuned.
Nice. That's what we like to call a teaser.
Mm.
And Matt, you've been heads down working on some stuff that you haven't been able to talk about yet. But how are things going on that end?
Yeah, I've still been sort of dogfooding our own stuff and working on getting what we call our microsites across to. There's lots of different parts to it. We're changing the architecture. We're changing the instance of Octopus that we're deploying from. We're incorporating process templates and policies in Platform Hub. We're also incorporating ephemeral environments. So it's a relatively big project, but it's been really fun because I've gotten back on hands-on, which has been cool, and getting into the weeds of things again, and Terraform and infrastructure code.
Hey, there you go.
Up ephemeral environments and tearing it down, and our deployments are going to be a lot faster than they were before as well, for a number of different reasons. So this has given me a bunch of things that we can talk about in lots of different formats, whether that be conference talks or blog posts or what.
Everyone back up. He's got Terraform. Everyone, he's got a terminal window. Everyone, he's getting crazy.
That's right. Yeah. 30-meter radius around me at all times now. So.
That's right. Always verify before you execute for sure. So
that's right.
Yeah, so we might as well get into some of the things that we've been doing. So this is a recording or webinar recap of the 2026.1 release party. Myself and a few other folks from the team, namely Ships, Michelle, and Jin, joined together. Apparently, I'm wearing a similar shirt. I have many versions of that shirt, so you'll forgive me for looking exactly the same, but this is not the same shirt. Anyways,
have you left your office at all?
I have not. I have not left my office. No, I'm kidding. No, I have like 4 or 5 of these same shirts. I just rotate. But yeah, it was great. We had a really good recap of everything that's new. Ships showed some demos. This is getting very meta. We showed some demos of Platform Hub. Let me go full screen. We showed some videos of Platform Hub. We showed obviously what can be done there. Jin did some demos of the recovery agent, what's in there as well. And then Michelle touched on tag sets. I talked about NPM feed support. We had a bunch of stuff there. And basically what we did, we just went through the whole list of features that we released as part of the roadmap. So if you haven't been to our roadmap, again, I always say this, roadmap.octopus.com. This should be your homepage, if not a bookmark. There you'll find a page that looks like this, and you can see all the stuff that we've shipped, along with all the stuff that we're planning to ship, along with all the other stuff that we're considering. So under consideration for shipping. So we went through the whole list of stuff that's in there. So in 2026.1, if you happen to miss this, don't worry. We've got new features like NPM feeds. You got be able to copy a release. Jim, I know you love this feature. So you can just walk up to the kebab menu and just copy a release. Being able to obviously get access more easily to retention policies. This was a feature that I think made a lot of sense. We had to centralize this basically. So you can go right now to a central location inside of Octopus to access your retention policies. Shared secrets in process templates. Matt, I know you're keen on this. And Ships did a demo of that. Scrubbing through the list here. We also had create and export compliance reports. This is important, obviously, if you're looking at how your policies and who's executing what. and then being able to utilize tenant tags in the context of environments. So these and other sorts of features are in 2026.1. Just recently in Octopus Cloud, we just shipped AWS Managed Argo CD support. So right off the heels of 2026.1, we have a new update for Octopus Cloud, but there you go.
Doesn't take long these days.
No, it does not. And I guess on the same vein, we've got. That's right. on the same vein, we've got this article here from Ryan entitled "Introducing Starter Policies in Platform Hub." Matt, did you want to talk about this, or did you want me to cover this?
I can take it. A fellow Tasmanian did most of the development work here, I'm fairly sure, which was Dawn down in Hobart. So I had to message him earlier in the week because I finally saw these starter templates, which are really cool. So before we had these in the product, let me maybe start there. So we have policies in Platform Hub, which are written in Rego, and they allow you to write scopes and conditions about how you want your deployments to, what you want your deployments to adhere to across your Octopus instance. And there's all different policies that you can put in place to achieve different outcomes. The experience we had when we launched the first version of this is you would create a new policy and you would give it a name, and then you were just kind of thrown into, okay, now what do you want for your scope and what do you want for your conditions? We had a bunch of stuff in our documentation, but it did mean jumping out to the docs, copying and pasting it across and that sort of thing. So now these are built into the product. So when you hit new policy, you'll be taken to a bunch of templates that we have for you here. So you can see, some of them on screen there. And when you click on one of those, it will actually inject some Rego code for both the scope and the condition for you with a bunch of comments in there. We've got some syntax highlighting in the product now, which is great because before it was just all sort of a wall of text that you were looking at. And we've got the comments, and I think there's even validation in the product as well, that if one of the lines is sort of invalid Rego, it will tell you that you need to, hey, go and check on line 21 or whatever it might be. So yeah, it's a fantastic feature to add in to what is already a great feature, which is policies themselves, but it's just reducing that friction of, blank page syndrome, I guess, when you start with a new policy.
So some of these are for, so we have one here, manual intervention. Check that a manual intervention step exists when deploying to production.
Yeah.
So if it will check to see if it's in the process, the description, and then if it's not there, the deployment process, then if it's not there, we'll violate that rule and then tell you that it's in violation.
Yep, that's correct. Yeah, and with our scoping, you can have that apply to the entire Octopus instance, like all projects in all spaces, or you could narrow it right down to a specific environment within a project within a specific space, or basically anything in between that. So the scoping is quite flexible about who you want it to apply to. And then we've also got different conditions with our policies as well, which is either to warn or to actually block it. So if you had something that you were rolling out throughout your organization that wasn't we need to stop deployments, but it was, we'd like to get people compliant with it, you might just do a warn so that they'll see a warning message when they go and do a deployment and know that they've got to update their deployment process or runbook or whatever is violating the policy, but you're not actually stopping them in their tracks. But there are some cases where you do want to actually stop the deployment and not let it go through because they've violated a policy as well. So
how flexible is it to create your own? Like, I've noticed that there's this option here for create blank policy. How deep can I go on that thing? Like, can I get pretty extensive with Rego and go to town with my own policies?
So the blank policy will give you the experience that we had prior to these starter policies, which will give you essentially an empty box.
Oh, right. Yeah, okay.
You can put any Rego code you want in there, I believe. And then the important thing, we've got this in our docs. I don't know if you have time to bring it up, John, but if you do a search for docs policies schema, we're looking for the input schema policies.
Okay.
So we have a payload that we send into the policy engine each time that we want to evaluate a policy. And that's it there, the schema for policies. Sweet. So, this is not the friendliest thing to read. It's obviously just a big one, but this will tell you all of the properties that are being passed into the policy engine at evaluation time. So if there's a property in here, you can write Rego around it in terms of the conditions. So these are all the things that you can go and write your conditions for. And with Rego, you've got a bunch of flexibility on how you actually write those conditions and operators that you use and and all that sort of fun. So that's what I would look at first, is the input schema, and have a look at, okay, what sort of things can I actually write my policies around?
Right. Okay.
And then you can sort of go from there. With that said, on this examples page that you've got up, we do have a bunch of examples, which is kind of where the starter policies came for. We had all these examples in our docs, and then we've sort of morphed those.
We might as well surface them. Them out through the product.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. So a lot of these will just have become starter policies that you can now get in the product in sort of one click by creating.
Okay.
Yeah.
Nice. I like that. Yeah. We did the same thing with the AI assistant and the integration there for obviously cooking out, various prompts and stuff. And we have a cookbook for the AI assistant and such. So it's kind of similar to that, it feels like. So that's cool. I like this a lot, actually. I'm going to have to upskill on this. This is something that I have not had the time yet to look at, but I will endeavor to do so. This looks really nice.
I'll write a policy in your instances, block all deployments, and then you will be forced to come.
Sure. It wouldn't be any different than today, like everything's manual approved or, auto deny. I don't know. Whatever. So anyways, getting back to the original article here by Ryan, where he's talking about starter policies. This is now a capability you can take advantage of in Platform Hub. Is this shipping now, or is this going to be shipping, or?
This is certainly out in cloud, and maybe 2026.2, I think.
Okay.
For Octopus server. Yep.
I think also, Ryan may have mentioned this at the bottom.
Yeah, I believe this is Ryan's first blog post as well. So
nice. I like that. All right, trial by fire, perfect. We've got an article from you. This is a new episode of Inside Platform Engineering. Peter, you interviewed. What's this all about?
Yeah, absolutely. So Peter's got an interesting take on platform engineering, and he's looking sort of at the forefront of what we're doing with, or what we could be doing with autonomous platforms and operators, and sort of moving away from the last 10 or 15 years of ways that we've managed infrastructure and platforms that we're kind of still bringing into platform engineering today because it's familiar to us. But yeah, we go on to talk about a bunch of things that have come up and different frameworks that are out there, especially like the reference architectures and the frameworks from some of these big organizations who give you a pretty good starting point these days, compared to even a year or two ago where this was a bit of a dark art of really trying to get into this. So yeah, this blog post is just a written summary of my key findings from that takeaway. If you prefer to consume via that, there is a link to the video in it if you'd like to sit down and have a listen.
I can't help myself, but I got Peter does not look happy. Blink twice if your deployment process is working. Come on, Peter, smile.
He's a weathered engineer, and I think he's seen too much in the industry now. So yeah.
What was that, Jim?
I thought it was Matt having a bad day for a second there.
Yeah, Matt, what's going on? Come on, tell us what's going on. Is the rain getting to you down there in Tassie? What's going on? Sorry, Peter. I don't mean to make fun. That's just my nature, sort of thing. You should see pictures of me. I look like someone told me that I don't know, whatever. Can't think of anything at the fly. Anyways, we've got this new tool. This is kind of cool. I don't know, Jim. I don't know if you've seen this. But I would like you, Jim, to take this assessment. I'd love to see where you find yourself on this scale. This is our interactive continuous delivery assessment. Take CD to the next level. This is available as part of our DevOps subsite. So if you go to / or whack DevOps, you'll find a bunch of other stuff there. And this is a tool that you can find out where you're at in terms of your CD level. And so let's quiz you here, Jim. So you just found a bug in production, Jim. When will a fix be deployed to production, Jim? And you feel free to make a joke.
My ability to actually write the code to fix the bug here, I'm feeling attacked.
That's right. Okay, it's Jim. So we'll say next week or beyond. Let's definitely have heavily emphasis on beyond. All right,
sometime this
That's
week.
Right. Okay. Next one. How often are deployments blocked by an issue with builds or tests? So how often, Jim? Is it most weeks, couple of times a month, or rarely?
A couple of times a month.
All right, let's be honest. Yes. Okay. Yeah. So how long is a deployment typically blocked when there's an issue with builds or tests? Is it more than a day, more than an hour, but less than a day, or less than an hour?
More than an hour. More than an hour, I think.
All right, more than an hour, but less than a day. All right, that's good to see.
Less than a day for sure.
The build just failed, but when does it get fixed? When we prepare this next software version, once we finish whatever we're working on, we pause everything and fix it straight away. Jim, I know where you're.
Everything. Yeah.
Yes, that's what I was going to say. All right.
Yeah.
A bug. I know, Jim, like you don't write bugs, but if a bug happened to be found in pre-production that would stop the software version from going live, when does it get fixed? We prepare the next version. We finish whatever we're doing, or we finish whatever we're working on. Once we finish, excuse me, I can't talk. Whenever we're finished working on, we pause everything and fix it straight away.
I'll take C, please, John.
All right, there you go. Moving on. How many teams outside of the development need to sign off on a production deployment? More than 2, 1 or 2, or none? I'm going to assume none with you, right? Yeah, just you. I am Neil before Zod. And can developers and testers deploy to a pre-live environment on demand? No. They need to obtain sign-off or raise a ticket or ask someone else to trigger the deployment. Yes, if they coordinate with others, or yes, they can deploy on demand without coordination.
Yes, they can deploy without coordination.
All right. Let's see what the next button.
Use the test environment for the next 2 hours or anything like that.
That's right.
Go through 5 pages of this.
Okay, we won't bother. Okay, I just wanted. Sorry. Anyways, the end result of this is you get this nice little. I should have a screenshot of this somewhere. I don't. But the end result of this is that you get a nice little feedback summary of your assessment. I think it's like a radar chart. Let me see if I can quickly find a photo of this. We have it on an internal Slack here. Let me see if I can quickly find it. Yes. Okay. So this is kind of sort of what it looks like. Something like that. You'll get a little assessment of how you did and something like that. We were walking through these questions, areas for improvement, things like that. So make sure to check this out. That is up on our DevOps site. You can check it out now. It's live. So make sure to take a look at /DevOps, the interactive CD assessment. That's your tool. And you can go to your boss and tell him or her, hey, we got to get Octopus in here because our CD is no CD. So I got OCD about CD. Anyways, sorry, I don't know where I'm going with this. Anyways, moving right along. It's a new video from you, Matt, on ephemeral environments. Tell us a little bit about this.
Yeah, if you've been on watching Deploy on Friday for a little bit, you'll have heard me bang on about this, but I love this feature. And this was me just taking you through the capability in Octopus Deploy of ephemeral environments. Ephemeral environments, of course, being temporary by nature. So the idea is that these are sort of dedicated, isolated environments that you can spin up on demand. The main use case is when a pull request is made, you might want to take the code that's in that pull request and deploy it to a real environment. But there can be challenges. One of the things that we just covered in the assessment there about, do you need to schedule in time on static test environments with other people? And that's still very much the case today. We have a lot of customers, and I certainly know from my experience in the field, they had like static UAT or dev or test. And
Yep.
Send the Slack message and say, oh, can I have this? Can I book this out? There was still a calendar.
No, the answer is no.
Yep. And this gives you, by virtue of using runbooks in Octopus Deploy, that's what we use for provisioning and deprovisioning the infrastructure. And then the deployment process in your project just deploys to that ephemeral or that temporary environment. So this is exactly one of the things I've been working through with a lot of our internal, well, not internal, but our microsites that build up a bunch of content like our docs and our blog and that sort of thing. So whenever a pull request is made to those now, there'll be a temporary environment spun up. You can see your change in real time. You can go and make sure it's working as intended. Or someone who's maybe non-technical, doesn't have to go and download NPM and install all the tools to get a local version of it running, and then it comes.
Hey, nothing wrong with NPM, man. Come on.
No, not at all. But so that's ephemeral environments. If you've got, I think it was 7 minutes spare, I'll take you through it from start to finish in that video.
Awesome. Well, speaking of NPM, this was not a plant, by the way, but this is my video on NPM feed support inside of Octopus Deploy. So there you go. I didn't plan that. So, so NPM support is now a first-class citizen, I guess, if you will, inside of Octopus. So I explained the before and after. And so before, you had to do a lot of stuff to get NPM packages supported inside of Octopus. You'd have to typically wrap it inside of zip archive or tarball, put it up into our built-in repository, and then somehow kind of have a change management sort of thing to correlate versions, right? So I list the problems before and after. And so now with NPM feed support, that problem now goes away. You just do an NPM publish and away you go. So this is something that you can now utilize. And incidentally, we also added, I didn't realize this until the release webinar where Michelle said that we actually added Google Cloud Storage as well as a new feed inside of Octopus as well, which is cool. So this is an example where I was showing I just set up a feed here pointing at npmjs.org, and then I do a search here against Octopus for all the packages that are up there. Hurry up, John. Come on, get to it. There we go. And so when you do that, you can see all the feeds. The nice thing about this is when you do this, it will actually keep all your feeds up to date, and you can do automatic release creation as well if you wanted to. So any new package that you publish to NPM can automatically trigger a feed update inside of Octopus, which means you can do a release if you need so, whatever. That's if you have dependencies, right? So, and those can come from any repository. It doesn't have to be npmjs.org. It can be, Artifactory, Nexus, whatever you're keen on. So definitely something worth checking out. And this is a video that touches on that sort of whole process. So there you go. Another video from us to you. This is a video. This is a recording of the latest edition of Argo Unpacked. I believe this is episode 23. And this is where Dan was talking about, do you really need Kubernetes? I guess this is, kind of asking the eternal question is, does Kubernetes need to be everywhere? And so this is another episode. If you're all curious, you can find out more about the show. You can visit argounpacked.com. This is our homepage for this. And you can find out for upcoming shows. There's next episode, Argo CD versus the world. Where does Argo CD really stand? So this is episode 24. It's going to be on March 30th at 7 p.m. UTC. I believe that's around noon Pacific or Eastern. I don't know. I didn't carry the one. I failed at math. All right. I don't know your time zones. I got, whatever. It's but if you want to check out the previous episodes, you can check them out there. And this is all at argounpacked.com. Incidentally, I think our YouTube channel for Argo Unpacked has well over 2,500 users or subscribers now, which is insane because they just started this thing. So they got lots and lots of subs, which is great. Great to see.
Yeah, it's certainly a hot topic. I'm going to try and segue. I don't actually know what's coming up next, but let's see if I segue correctly because it was certainly a hot topic at KubeCon last year. And next week, there is yet another KubeCon Europe coming up. I've probably just thrown you out by that, John. But
nope. Go, dude, go.
Yeah,
well done.
I mean, I was at Atlanta. I won't be there in Amsterdam next week, but a bunch of our team will be. So come by the booth, say hello to the folks who are there. And I mean, just when you were talking about the subscribers on Argo Unpacked, it's definitely popular. Like every discussion that I had with someone in Atlanta was around Argo CD in one shape or form. Like everyone was either using it or about to start using it or, had GitOps on their mind. So, very cool. KubeCon EU, obviously next week here. And we'll be there. And as will many thousands of others. I'm told that Europe is actually now a bigger event than the North
is.
So.
Yes, it is. It's quite impressive, actually. I was at KubeCon in Paris, and I was blown away by the size of the event. It was insane. We'll have a booth there. We're running some of the co-located events as well. So we'll be hosting ArgoCon and sponsoring it as well. And so if you're at all curious about what's going on here, you can check that out. Some other co-located events include Platform Engineering Con, I think it is. I can't remember the names of them. There's all the cons, as I like to say.
Yeah, Platform Engineering Day might be. That's what it was called.
Yes, that's right. Sorry, you're right. My apologies. Yes, Platform Engineering Day. Yeah. So the schedules are now being published, and if you're all curious about checking these things out, you can. And we'll be front and center there. We'll have a big booth. You can't miss us. You'll see the Octopus Deploy logo there in all its glory. And that's March 23rd and 26th in Amsterdam, and hope to see you there. Cool. This is good, Matt. You're giving me all the segues that I don't have to do myself. I feel like I have to come up with everything on the fly. So,
trying to help when I can, show value.
I take it, Jim, you're not going to Amsterdam, right?
I wish. I don't get to things.
You just sound really grizzled now, Jim. Come on. Yeah. Come on, I want to go to Amsterdam. All right. Our friends over at DevOps.com. This is part of the TechStrong group. We've done webinars with them. Incidentally, we did one with them recently. There was this article written by Jen entitled "I Saw DevOps Future," and its name is AI Native Dev. And so this is basically, an article which talks about what's happening in the industry now and what people are seeing, the buzz that's around it. And there seems to be a lot of buzz around AI, and this is Jen's sort of take on what's being shown. And you can see, she went to an event where she saw basically the typical folks you see at any sort of start of a big movement. You saw the hardcore builders, the platform engineers, the DevOps veterans, the LLM experimenters, the people running Mistral, getting a GPU under their desk. What you didn't see, the hordes of opportunists who show up once the money's there to chase. It's all pure early and still pure, and it's all learning. And 90% of developers that use AI are using it frequently. That is certainly my case. I'm using Claude hourly now, if not daily. And I'm loving it. It's great. I'm using it for a lot of code gen. Jim, what's your experience these days? What do you like? Nothing?
Oh, you've gone mute, I think. Muted.
Oh, you're muted there, Jim. That's all right.
Sorry,
Claude muted you. He didn't. Claude didn't want you to tell everyone they're using Gemini.
The term. I'm using lots of Claude for lots of stuff.
All right,
but yeah.
What are you doing, Matt? You experimenting around with Claude or anything else?
Yeah, for sure. Claude's certainly my go-to. So I use Claude Code a fair bit in some of the projects that I'm working on. So, and I'm still, I'm kind of old school. I'm late to the party of the new flashy stuff, but I was using it just the other day with a lot of that work that I was doing. I needed a few scripts to do particular things, and I can absolutely sit there and write them in PowerShell and get to where I needed to go. But it was just so nice to be able to I talk to my computer because I find that I explain things better when I'm sitting here talking to the LLM instead of typing it out, because I'll be naturally brief if I type it. So I'll sit here and explain exactly what I want it to do and some of the constraints and that sort of thing. And honestly, it got me 95% of the way there. I changed a couple of parameters. I removed a few things that I thought weren't really necessary, fixed up the formatting, and off we go. Instead of 30 or 45 minutes of me sitting there writing it out manually. I just got there and it was that much quicker, and it was exactly the thing that I would have gotten to anyway. So
being able to fire up the CLI, I use the rich client, but I'll typically default into voice mode. So I'm using the Command D to prompt to voice, and I'll just talk for about 10-30 seconds or something like that, and then get it to prompt and then gen. I'm using the rich client code, but sometimes I'll thunk down to the CLI. Sometimes I do find myself kind of weaving in and out of various UIs. The CLI is one, but the web client helps as well. I do like pointing it to a local file and having work done there. That helps a lot, I find. So a co-work instance, if I'm doing work, if for any sort of non-coding and then code for, obviously in the context of a Git repository and doing workspaces, etc. So that's awesome. Awesome stuff.
One of the things that as you know, John, I just started getting hands on this week. I think both of you guys have already sort of gotten into this pretty deeply, which is around skills. So
yes,
we had an internal presentation from the team this week that I was able to jump in on, and then I started looking at skills, and I'm like, okay, this is going to really amplify the way in which this is used, and this is really cool. So
so this is skills.sh. This is by the folks over at Vercel, and they created this as a discovery repository for any skills that you wanted to use. It's available as a CLI as well, and you can install it via npm. But you can install skills directly within your environments if you so wish. Skills are the ways in which you add capability to your LLM context, etc. So we have actually skills for our writing style. We also have a skill that defines sort of isms or taxonomy around things like projects, environments, life cycles, etc. So that when folks are using something like Claude for text or for docs or whatever, we're utilizing the blessed, the canonical definition of, say, like a project or an environment, as opposed to an environment being something else, right? Like entirely different. So skills help in that regard, and I think that they're definitely going to be quite useful. The alternative to skills, of course, is you can use like a mega file, which is like agent.md if you want to use that, which just basically loads everything. But definitely something worth checking out, and something you can take advantage of if you're so inclined. So there you go. Yeah, skills are pretty cool to use, and should offer some really good capabilities. And I'm now in the skill authoring game now. That's where I'm spending most of my time. So there you go. I will. I know that Jim, you were a fan of the superpowers skill. Let me tell us a little bit about this.
Superpowers is a bunch of skills that work together in sort of like a phased development approach. So it'll do like a brainstorming session with you, then it'll go to implementing, then it's got a special reviewing skill, and it's got a bunch of others that work around it to do like, I don't know, maybe using Git work trees and all this sort of stuff. It's really interesting. We did a head-to-head, me and another engineer here at Octopus the other day, of superpower versus vanilla Claude, and got a presentation on it. And it was shocking. Like when I first used superpowers, the Claude couldn't come close on its own, but it did not beat it by miles this time. The rate of change and the improvement in these tooling is just I can't even keep up with them, and I use them every day.
So what are the ones that you're using the most here? Like what are you guys using a lot of?
So brainstorming's really great, and we did find that this brainstorming skill would always produce a better design than Claude would on its own. It would come up, it would think of more edge cases, think of more production ready or better designs. The executing plans was at times slightly better. So there's a writing plans and an executing plan skill, and they work together. So one writes the plans and then one executes them. We found that in the 2 tests we did, Claude got stuck once saying, this is a bug, and then not knowing how to diagnose it. And to fix that, the other engineer had to switch models to Codex and get it to really power through that and use that system of debugging. Whereas I was just hands off the whole time. I just had to come back occasionally and say, please keep going. Please keep going. You're doing a good job, buddy.
Sometimes I'll have to go up to Claude, and I feel like an old man with a wrench in my hand going up to that engine that won't stop. And I'm like, dag nabbit, stop running the engine, sort of thing. So, it's one of those things, I guess. Sometimes Claude will just kind of, forget who it is for a while. And, just go off on a tangent sometimes. And every AI that I've used has had issues with that, for example. So, if it starts thinking for minutes and it shouldn't take this long, you're like, okay, what's going on here? You've been thinking for 10 minutes, dude. I simply asked you to move a div. Like, how hard can it be? So whatever.
I'm sure it says in the repo, Jim, but like these ones here, these community sort of ones, do I download this repo and then I can point Claude at the local repo, or do I grab each of the skills that I want and sort of import those in?
Command line installation of it. So it's like you install a plugin marketplace, and then you install the skill from here. I actually found out today there's also this is the generic version of superpowers. So this is for any agent. There's also a Claude specific version of this that's an extension that integrates better with Claude, which I've not tried yet. So
this one here.
Yeah. Cool.
So unfortunately, this is for you, Matt. We have ours under a enterprise agreement. You're going to have to ask for one of the admins to install it for you, unfortunately. It has to get blessed. But if you're running it yourself, hey, you can go nuts, What's that?
Yeah.
I said Jim looks like he'd be an admin,
Yeah.
You got that look about you, Jim?
I've got something going right.
That's funny. Awesome. To round things out, I found this article really fun. I don't know if you guys caught this. I posted this to one of our internal Slack channels, and Paul liked it. It was I found this. It was a really, really good read. It's entitled "Warranty Void If Regenerated." It's basically a thought experiment about what life will be like when AI has taken over the world and people show up to this fictitious sort of Hartman's software mechanics, and equipment repair. And it's a very light read, but it gives a really good vision of the future where like a farmer comes in and is using an AI to help manage their crops. And it's like, that's why it's titled Warranty is Void If Regenerated. And so I thought it was a really pleasant read. This would be a really good read if you're, just looking for something light on a Friday, like today, for example. And it's a little bit long, but it does pose a really, really good sort of state of the world. And it's told in a story framework. So, I think it's definitely kind of sets a vision or tone for what AI will do for our future. And it's not dystopian. It's not anything like that. It's kind of pleasant. It's kind of fun to read. So I think it's a good read. So I thought I would end on that. So there you go. Very Warranty nice. Void if regenerated. I think we'll start to hear that a little bit more. Anyways, Charlotte sends her best regards. Unfortunately, she couldn't arrive today. But anyways, anything to wrap up for today's edition of Deploy on Friday? Any last things that we didn't mention? I got to change my shirt, I guess, apparently. I've got 4 of these.
You got to get the black shirt memo.
Yes, the black shirt. I went Zuckerberg. I did 5 of these, 4 of the black, 8 gray, that sort of thing. So anyways. All right. Well, what's that?
Well, I find a shirt or like a pair of pants that fit. Like my wife works at Myer. She's a floor manager at Myer. She came home yesterday. She's like, I ordered you 5 new Unison shirts because that's like I'm like, cool, that'll do me another year. Let's go.
Yep, exactly. Yeah, I just rotate out. That's right. Next one on the bench. Next one up. Let's go.
Yeah.
All right.
That's
cool.
Go.
All right. Well, we'll see you all next week. Thanks for joining us. Really appreciate it. Again, just to remind folks, we do this live every week on Fridays. It's just a show that just recaps the week there was for Octopus Deploy. If you have any questions at all, feel free to reach out. Otherwise, we will see you on the next one. Happy deployments, everyone. Take care.